it's Shawnee. Welcome back. So just gonna play around with makeup today, and I thought I would update you on one of the news stories I shared a couple weeks ago. Girl, the updates. So I think I'm going to use this Ninhydrin palette from Adept Cosmetics. I really want to use some of these shades down here, and because they're like shimmers and multi-chromes and duochromes or whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and if I can pick it up, use the Colorfix matte by Danessa Myricks in the shade Blackout. Okay, so girl, what I found out. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week or the week before, I shared about a news story from Australia, right? So the story, if you don't remember, was about this, these four people, it was like two couples. They went to this lady's house for dinner or something, and once they left, 3 out of the 4 died. Okay, so everybody is like, WTF, what happened? Because we would all be like that, right? If somebody came to your house, 4 people, and 3 didn't make it out alive, well, I guess they went home and stuff, but 3 of them passed away, you would be like, what's going on? People would be questioning you, right? So everybody's like, what happened? And the lady who cooked the meal, she said that she doesn't know what happened because she had a little bit of the food, and so did her kids. So everybody's like, well, then what happened? One of the things is that the couple, the 2 couples that came, they were like in their late 60s, early 70s. So it's like maybe something was going on, and like maybe they got ill from something that the younger folks didn't, you know, like their immune systems couldn't handle. We don't know. So they start doing more, like they start looking more into what happened and this lady. And now we have more information. So come to find out, the people she invited were her ex-mother and father-in-law and the mother-in-law's sister and her husband, right? So she wanted to make sure that that her kids still had like contact with their grandparents, which is great, right? So she wanted to make sure that the kids still had contact with their dad's family. And so she invited them to the dinner, and the mother-in-law brought her sister and the sister's husband. So they're all 4 there. They're having a good old time. Now, these older folks, they're all like pillars of the community. They're like teachers and pastors and everything. Everybody loves them. Everybody loves these older folks, right? So everybody was surprised when all of a sudden, hold on, let me find, what is that palette doing in there? So people were surprised when all of a sudden it's like 3 out of 4 of these people died, and 1 is in the hospital in critical condition waiting for a liver transplant. That's pretty serious, right? I've never had to get a transplant, but it sounds pretty serious to me. So the police and stuff are like, I think I will start with, I'll start with this, this shade here. Oh, that looks really different on the camera. Maybe I'll start with this one. So, they talked to some of Homegirl's friends, and they're like, low-key, she is like an experienced wild mushroom scavenger. Oh, I forgot to say. So the lady had saved part of the dinner that she cooked, and it has like a significant amount of mushrooms in it. Beef Wellington was what was made. Did I say that already? Tell me what's in beef Wellington, because I don't know. I don't be cooking like that. But apparently it has a lot of mushrooms. And what they found out, I guess people did like a toxicology report, yeah. And they found out that the mushrooms that were in the beef Wellington were these mushrooms called death caps. Now, some of y'all told me that you've encountered those before, but apparently death caps are lethal. I mean, that's why they're called death caps, right? They are super lethal, but also apparently they taste good. So, you know, there's that. And I think I did some research. What did it say? Let me move this. It said, death caps are resistant to heat, So even if you cook them, that doesn't take away all the toxins. And half of one of these mushrooms has enough poison to kill a human. So these are some dangerous, dangerous mushrooms, right? And homegirl says that she remembers buying the mushrooms a while ago from some Asian market that she couldn't narrow down, because apparently every Asian market is the same and sells the same thing. So she can't remember exactly where she bought it. I don't know about you, but I frequent the same grocery stores as, like, I always go to the same ones. I feel like I remember, I'd be like, well, it's either Wegmans or it's Shoppers or it's Safeway. You know, like I feel like I'd be able to, it's Harris Teeter. I feel like I'd be able to remember. Especially if they're deadly, right? And like national places are like, girl, nobody sells those in the grocery store. Like, we don't do that. Let's now go into this shade here. Okay, so back to the story. So, lady's like, I don't know. I love these people. I, of course, didn't want them to die. You know, I don't know what happened. And her friends are like, low-key, she's an expert at mushroom scavenging and foraging or whatever. So she knows what she's doing when she encounters mushrooms. So to me, that sounds a little interesting and suspicious, right? Allegedly. So, so she said that she had eaten a little bit of the food and she got a little sick. She said that she had to go to the hospital. Somehow it didn't kill her, right? And it didn't put her in like medical and physical distress. Interesting. And she claimed that her kids ate some of the leftovers, but she had like scraped off the mushrooms because the kids don't like mushrooms. Can you do that with beef Wellington? What is beef Wellington? Hey Siri, what is beef Wellington?
Beef Wellington is a steak dish of English origin, made out of filet steak coated with pate and duke cells, wrapped in puff pastry, then baked. Do you want me to keep reading?
Nah, girl. So then
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. So I don't understand. Where would the mushrooms be? Would they be inside of the puff pastry? Would they be on top? I don't know. Help me understand what beef Wellington is. But I'm not quite sure that you could scrape off the mushrooms. I don't know if I'm believing her that that's what she did, and then she fed the mushroom dish to the kids when she scraped off the mushrooms. And so the lady, I guess, was telling her ex-husband what happened, and he's like, she's telling him about the mushrooms and stuff that she used, and he's like, well, is that what you used to kill them? And then he goes on to say, I'm going to go ahead and use this one. Then he goes on to say that he, a while ago, after he ate a dish prepared by his now ex-wife, he ended up in the hospital for 16 days in a medically induced coma after eating food that she cooked. And he had to have several surgeries and stuff. This is his account of what happened to him. So we don't know if it's true. It's just what he's saying. And so everybody is looking at this lady like, you done did some of these people, because it's too many coincidences. And how, like, here's the thing, if she had poisoned them, she can't have fed that mess to her kids, because even if you scrape off the mushrooms, isn't the mushroom essence gonna still be on there? Aren't you afraid that you're gonna, like, your kids are not gonna make it out of this dinner? So the lady is a suspect in these dinner dyings, and they haven't like said more than that just yet, but I am following this story, y'all, when I tell you, because I am curious as to what happened. So tell me what you think happened, because this is all allegedly, like, we don't really know, right? We can just speculate right now. But she's on the news and stuff crying and saying she doesn't know what happened, and people are calling her evil and all this stuff. And the police have questioned her, and child, but everybody's like, girl, you know that don't make no sense. This seems a little suspicious. A little suspicious. So we're going to keep our eye on that, okay? Because I want to know. Here it is. Like, if she did do it, I'm not saying that she did. Oh, that is like, that is some evil stuff. How you gonna do that? You gonna have people over? I bet you they really liked beef Wellington also, and they were just grubbing on it because apparently the deadly mushroom tastes good. And then ooh, girl. Oh, how you explain that to your kids? Like, yeah, they came over for a meal, and come to find out it was their last meal. How you gonna explain that to them? But y'all, let me tell you more about these, like, food-related stories. So, this lady hops on her flight. Now, it's a short flight. It's from San Diego to San Francisco. Girl, that's not that long. That's not that long, okay? It's really not. It's a short flight. You could drive there if you wanted to. Like, I think from LA to Frisco, it's like a 6 hour drive, 6 to 8. So if you go from San Diego, I don't know, it's less than 10 hours, okay? So the flight is not going to be long, right? It's a short flight. It's not like you're coming from the East Coast to the West Coast. It's a short flight. So, you know, those short flights, you just sit there, you take a little quick nap, you know, you might read a book or something. By the time you start to fall asleep, the plane is landing. But she decides, so she's sitting in the back row, in the last row, right? The one by the toilets. But she decides that she's hungry. I'm just thinking, all you need are some little snacks if you're going on a short flight like that. Like, grab you some Doritos or some peanuts or something. Or maybe not peanuts because people are allergic. But grab you something light and eat, you know, something quick. No, sir. Ma'am decided to pull out a bowl of Chipotle. Now, I remember when what colors did I use? I remember when Chipotle first came out because I was in grad school. And you know, as students, if you can get a meal for like a cheap few dollars and it'll fill you up for like the day, that was goals, right? So I remember going to Chipotle when they first opened up and being like, oh my God, these burritos are huge. This is going to be what I survive off of for the next few months. And I remember at that time, everybody was calling it Chipotle. It's not Chipotle, it's Chipotle, right? So, homegirl pulls out her bowl of Chipotle. And she has the nerve to, like, go on TikTok or something, one of the social medias. And what did she say? I wrote it down. Hold on, because I wanted to get her exact words correct. She said, I'm in the middle seat and I know for a fact someone is going to hate me. So she already knows that somebody is going to be pissed that she's pulling out Chipotle because Chipotle has a strong scent, right? We've all probably been to Chipotle or smelled Chipotle or something. There's a scent. I don't know if it's the lime that they put in the rice or the seasoning they use on the chicken. I'm not sure, but you can smell when Chipotle is in the vicinity. So she goes ahead and eats her food, and I guess she thought that people were gonna be like, yeah, girl, I would do it too. But people are like, you ate Chipotle on a plane? Because the lady was like, well, I thought it would be fine because we're in the back row. No, the air is circulating in this plane. So you're going to get Chipotle sauce smell in the air, and now the whole plane and all the passengers will smell like Chipotle. So I guess that somebody did an interview with her or whatever, allegedly, And she was like, I'ma still bring stuff on the plane. And she was like, it's not like I would ever bring a tuna sandwich. Girl, that might be better than Chipotle. Like, come on. I just cannot imagine sitting there like somebody eating Chipotle up in here. And then I feel like Chipotle sticks, the scent sticks on you. So I'm also going to be walking out this plane smelling like Chipotle, and I ain't even have none. I didn't even get a bite of the bowl, you know? So tell me what you think about that, because I thought that that was just pure selfishness. Pure selfishness. I'm also thinking, initially when I read it, I was like, oh, it must be a long flight, you know, like, let me give that to her. But no, it was a flight from San Diego to San Francisco. Girl, it probably took her longer to take the bowl and stuff out the bag and actually eat the food than the whole flight did. I just feel like that's so ridiculous. I feel like people be doing all kinds of stuff on planes these days. Like, especially over the past couple of years. And speaking of that, I have a couple other plane stories. This lady and her daughter were traveling, and I guess the daughter wanted some hot chocolate, which I understand, girl, hot chocolate is delicious. So she wanted some hot chocolate, and the flight attendant was bringing it to her, and somehow the hot chocolate spilled on the little girl, and she got like 2nd-degree burns. So the mom goes on to X, previously known as Twitter, and tweets this story, and she was like, and the flight attendants and stuff and crew, like, nobody even helped us. They just had my daughter sit there burning. And so, of course, you know that the airline has to come out and say something. And they were like, yes, we're aware of the incident that occurred with one of our passengers. And they were like, a young child was being served hot chocolate at the request of her parents. And because the child was playful and, like, was playing around, she hit the tray, and that's why it fell on her. So they are blaming the little girl. They are blaming the little girl for the accident. They act like she was flailing about and like she hit the thing and it fell all over her. It's hard for me to really like believe that. Like, I know children, you know, they like to move and stuff, but that just, I feel like the airline was just trying to blame this little girl for her getting burned. That just feels like, come on, you guys. Like, that's the best you could come up with. You just gonna blame this little girl for the 2nd-degree burns that she has? Come on, sir. Now, the last story I'm gonna tell you is about a child, since we were talking about a kid. So, I think it was in Katy, Texas. And I only know a little bit about Katy, Texas because we have a family friend who used to live there. And apparently, you know, school is starting, right? Which already has some issues. But school is starting, and this lady put her little 5-year-old son on the bus to go to school, to go to kindergarten. And so at the end of the day, 3:18, the little boy is supposed to be dropped back off at the bus stop. So the lady is waiting for her son, and he doesn't get off the bus. So she gets on the bus, you know, like, what's going on? And she asks the bus driver, like, did you let off my child without a parent there? And the bus driver's like, no, that's not what I do. And the mom is like, well, my son is not here. And the bus driver is like, well, these are all the kids that are left. So, and then she just went on and went about her business and drove away. So the lady goes to the school thinking like, okay, maybe my baby's here. And when she gets to the school, she hears that some of the buses have been like overcrowded, overloaded. So they've been doing like 2 rounds or so to pick up and drop off the kids. But she also heard another parent being like, I can't find my child. Where are they? And so the lady goes back to the bus stop thinking, okay, maybe he's on the 2nd round of drop off. He's not there. She's freaking out. I don't even know if she called the police, but at this point, I would have called the police. My child is not on the bus. My child is not at the school. I don't understand. So come on, police, before I chase down this bus driver and give her something to be upset about. But I don't know if she did. So an hour has gone by. I know some of y'all are parents. What would you do? If it's an hour later, girl, first of all, I would be hysterical and I would be tearing everything up. I would be tearing everything up. I would do that for Rose, let alone a human child. I would... They would have to come restrain me because, no. Come to find out, the bus driver dropped this little boy at the wrong bus stop. And he went ahead and went up to a little car and told this dad in the car that he was lost. And those folks dropped the boy back at the school. I appreciate that, right? But in this day and age, in 2023 in the United States and probably a lot of other places, that is so dangerous. That is so dangerous. People be snatching kids up off the street. And this little boy, smart little boy to ask for help. And he's only 5. Of course he's going to ask an adult, like, what do I do? I don't know where I am. Like, I don't see my mommy or whatever. And thank God that this was not some crazy person that he asked that could have snatched him up and she might not have never seen that little baby. And when I talk, girl, she is better than me because she's saying, like, I still want answers. I'm sorry. I don't even know what I would do, but it would not be good. Y'all put my child in extreme danger. You done let him off the bus to somebody else. It sounded like the bus driver just let him off the bus. Didn't even, see if it was the right spot or nothing. And this little 5-year-old, he don't know where he going. Like, of course he's gonna get off the bus if you're like, this is your stop. Ooh. Me and that bus driver lady, we would have fought. We would have fought. And I would have brought people with me to take her down. Because not you putting my child in harm's way. And not even caring, talking about, well, that's all the kids on the bus. What if it was your kid? Girl. Ooh, that got me fired up. I was like, the nerve. I would be suing everybody and anybody. I would be suing the school, the bus driver, the person who manufactured the bus, the person who manufactured the tires on the bus. I would be suing everybody because that is emotional distress and child endangerment, right? Girl, I have other stories, but I might just leave it at that because I'll do another video later in the week and tell you the other stories about how these college students are getting to school and they don't have nowhere to stay. They don't have nowhere to sleep. So you want me to send my child to college and there's no housing for them. But I'm not even going to go into it, girl. Let me save that for another day when I can fully, rant about it. But let me finish everything off, pull it all together, and I will be right back to show you the end result. Okay, so here is the finished look. I was trying to get it done before this leaf blower, but basically this is the Ninhydrin palette from Adept Cosmetics. I did add a wing, and then I went in with the Pat McGrath Divine Rose highlighter. And hopefully you enjoyed this update on these news stories. Yeah, here's your daily / weekly / monthly news. But I will have another video probably later in the week because there is still so much craziness going on and I just love reading it and I love telling you about it. So let me know what you think of the mushroom story, the Chipotle on the airplane story, the hot chocolate spilling on people story, and the child being dropped off at the wrong place from the bus, the school bus. Anyways, hopefully some of this was helpful. I also hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself. Be sure to give that video a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. I can't wait to hear what you think about these news stories. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.